As a lot of you are aware, the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity demo released on the eShop a few days ago. There has been a lot of hype and anticipation for this game, with Nintendo constantly dropping small trailers and hints as to what we might expect to see in the full game. One of the things that people are most excited to know is who will be a playable character. So far, Nintendo has officially showed off 7 playable characters. These characters are Link, Zelda, Impa, and the 4 champions, Daruk, Revali, Urbosa, and Mipha. However, there has been a massive datamine leak from the demo, which may give us insight into 11 more possible characters that will likely be playable in the final game. A large roster of characters has always been something that the Warriors games has boasted. The original Hyrule Warriors game had a large and diverse cast, containing main characters Link and Zelda, fan favourites such as Midna and Princess Ruto, original characters such as Lana, and also the ability to play as villains such as Girahim and Ganon. The original cast contained 13 characters, with 3 added in an update and a total of 30 characters being included after DLC. As a result, it isn't crazy to expect a similar sized roster of characters for Age of Calamity as well. The datamine noticed a total of 18 characters that had player icons associated with them, which points to these characters being playable. Keep in mind that this doesn't confirm that these characters are all playable, as some of them may have an icon reserved for some other reason. Despite this, it is likely that at minimum, the vast majority will be able to be played. Apart from the 7 characters that were mentioned previously, the other 11 characters are King Rome, Hestu, Riju, Sidon, Tiba, Yunobo, the Great Fairy, Master Koga, a monk, the Mini Guardian, and Ganon himself. Some of the names on this list may have been expected, but I find myself surprised at a few of them. Additions such as King Rome and Hestu are really cool, as I don't feel like we saw enough of the King in Breath of the Wild, and Hestu will have a really unique moveset. I suspect that King Rome will join our party in a later mission, and Hestu will either join after the mission in the Lost Woods, or as a reward for finding some amount of Korok seeds. It's also good that Koei Tecmo is again letting us play some of the villains in the series. This is something that was always very enjoyable in the original Hyrule Warriors, but was unfortunately missing in Fire Emblem Warriors that released a few years later. Master Koga will make a very funny and unique addition to the game, but it'll be very interesting to see what direction they decide to take for the design of Ganon. Will we get a traditional looking Ganondorf in his human self, or a more beast-like figure that is consumed by Calamity? Whichever direction that they take, I just hope we get a design that is as cool as the original Hyrule Warriors Ganon. I'm thinking that we will likely unlock them by playing through the story, until we reach a point where we actually play as the villains. The original Hyrule Warriors had 3 chapters, where we got to play from the villain's point of view, which was an extremely enjoyable section of the game, so I'm hoping that the new game will have something like that as well. While it may seem strange, the Great Fairy from Ocarina of Time was playable in the original Hyrule Warriors game, so it shouldn't be too surprising that we see the return of the Great Fairy in Age of Calamity, this time in her Breath of the Wild design. It will be interesting to see which of the 4 fairies we do get in this game though, or if we are able to use all of them in one character. Alternatively, the Great Fairy icon that was datamined could just be indicating the location of Great Fairy fountains on the map, but given the precedent set from the original Hyrule Warriors, I have a feeling that she will be playable. The Mini Guardian is also a strange but welcome addition. There is a chance that this character isn't actually playable, because the icon has already been seen on the map throughout the demo, but we'll just have to wait and see what becomes of this. I was also hoping that we were going to get a monk in this game, and by the looks of this datamine, it seems that that will be the case. The monk fight at the end of the Breath of the Wild DLC was very enjoyable, so if we get a moveset for the monk that is based on that fight, it looks like they will be an extremely fun character to play as. I'm interested to see how we unlock them though, as there aren't any shrines from what we can see based on the demo, although there is something on the website that indicates that there may be a shrine or 2 somewhere in the game. Finally, the most exciting part of this leak is seeing that we can play as the ancestors of the champions, that is Riju, who is Urbosa's descendant, Sidon, who is Mipha's younger brother, Yunobo, who is Daruk's descendant, and Tiba, who while not being a direct descendant of Revali, protects the Rito village in his place. A lot of these characters are fan favourites and will likely have very enjoyable movesets that will probably have some similarities to the person that they are descended from. More exciting than that, however, is the implication that we might be able to travel to the future as a part of Age of Calamity. The reason I'm thinking we might be able to do this is because none of these characters, barring a younger Sidon, would exist in the world of Calamity, as they only exist 100 years later in Breath of the Wild. As a result, it wouldn't make sense to be able to recruit them unless there was a segment of the game where we cross into the timeline of Breath of the Wild 100 years later. This could mean we get to fight a wider array of enemies, such as the Blights and Calamity Ganon himself, alongside the ability to travel to more unique locations and unlock more content to complete. This is just my personal speculation for what they could do in regard to the story, but I think it would be really cool. It would also open up the possibility of adding more characters from that timeline later on, such as Pyre, Old Impa, or maybe even Kaz. Let me know how you think we will recruit these future characters in the comments section. The DATAMINE list of characters is extremely exciting and just gets me even more hyped for the game. While there is a chance that some of them won't end up being playable, I personally am holding out hope and believe that we will get to play as all of them. I also doubt that this will be the final list of characters, as the Warriors games are notorious for releasing more characters and content either through free updates or DLC. I'll be discussing another leak in a future video that talks about Robbie and Pura. These are two characters that I thought were going to be playable, but this datamine doesn't seem to mention them at all. That is one area where I think maybe the datamine might not be 100% correct after all, but it could just be that their icons weren't added into the game files, or perhaps they really aren't playable after all. Let me know what characters you are most excited for, and leave a like on this video and share it around if you enjoyed it. I haven't done this sort of video before, so any feedback would be appreciated so I can improve for next time. I'm really looking forward to playing this game on the 20th and uploading more content for it. Thanks for watching, I hope you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.